Hey guys, now this video we're going to be doing the last one in our beginner kind of set of patterns. This is pattern 20. Now this one's probably not as complicated, sort of interesting because we have a curved shape and we haven't been doing too many of these kind of more organic kind of curved patterns. Pretty much everything we've been doing is some type of hard polygonal shape or stripes or some variation of that. But this one's kind of fun. I like this guy. So how do we do this little teardrop thing right here? It's a little interesting because you don't have that shape built into Designer. We have to create it, but there's another node in here that's going to make it a lot easier. So what I'm doing is starting a brand new graph. Okay, Command N. We're going to call this Pattern20. Again, like every other video, empty template, 2048 by 2048. Now, once we're inside of here, we need to find that shape first off. So that is our major problem here. What is this and where is it coming from? Now, the way I would probably do this is using something called waveform 1. Now this thing you can tell is more of like an audio waveform. It kind of has some interesting little peaks, but we can kind of turn this into that shape. So what I'm going to do is click on it. We're going to take the wave number, go to 1. Okay, let's take the noise. Let's play around with that. All right, so noise. Let's bring that down. I definitely don't want that. Samples. Okay, that kind of fixes this a little bit. Size max is like the peak of everything. Let's go down. What's pattern doing? Okay, this one's important. Pattern, you can see as I kind of move that, is sort of affecting the amount, almost like the way it fades from the center to the top. If I go all the way down to 2, see how it's nice and hard edged? That's what we want. Now I am going to bring the size max down a little bit just to kind of get roughly the right shape. We can fix it later. I think that's pretty close. Now my main issue with this thing is even though we do have it, look how jagged that is. This can be fixed with the sample. So currently it's only doing 167. I think I may have slid it around a little bit earlier by mistake, but we're going to crank this up to smooth this out as much as possible. I'm going all the way up to 1024. That's much better. Now from here, I think we can do an edge detect to kind of get just this border going around it. Let's try that out. Okay, we're going to click, edge detect. Let's remove the roundness. I don't think we need that. And I'm going to invert it so it's white. Let's check the thickness. Definitely not thick enough. Let's try 5. That's actually probably pretty close. Yeah, this might work. If I hit space to see how it tiles, you can see we're off to the right start. Now our next thing is going to be putting this in a generator. So we're going to do tile generator. Make sure this goes into the pattern input on the generator. Change it to image input. Okay, let's go look at the reference. So we've got, I know they're kind of offset, but just look at one column. So they're going to be rotated, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4 vertically. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's definitely 4 going up. Now, horizontally, what's going on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 4 by 8 across. I'm going to set the generator up to do that. So it's going to be 8 across, 4 up. Now let's turn this thing, and I could actually do this right on the generator if I wanted to. Let's do 90-degree rotation. You can tell we're getting closer. Now remember that with this one, if you look at the rows, see how this other row next to it is offset by 50%, and that's offset by 50%. So they're all kind of staggered back and forth. We have done this in one of the earlier videos. So what we're going to do is come down here to position, and we're going to do exactly 0.5 offset. Now notice how it's offsetting this direction. I want the column. Let's do vertical offset true. So now vertical offset means it's moving the vertical columns up and down. Not typically it does it horizontally, which would break the pattern. Now we're getting closer. Once we kind of have this set up, we just need to play around with the scale. This is also something we've done before using these interstice values up here, X and Y. Okay, so that is going to break it. Let's not move that. X is the width. Now I need to go negative, not crunch it in. So let's type in negative 0.5. All right, now we're getting there. That needs to be a lot wider. So we're going to go lower, lower, right about there. I think we might have it. I think we've got it. My thickness on the edge is just a little off. So probably what I would do is like we'll leave it maybe around here, and then on the edge detect, I think I got to bump this up to maybe like a 6. That feels a little closer. Still might be just a tiny bit off on the thickness, so maybe 6.5 or 7. Let's try 7. I think we're going to go with that. Now the one thing I'm missing here is you'll notice that between the shapes, there's that little circle. Now I could like add this in later, like tile a circular dot over and over again and then merge it with this guy. But I think really the better idea is to merge this into the pattern way back here. So before it even hits the tile generator, it's already taking that into account. So how do I do this? We're going to make a shape, put this above this guy, and we're going to call this one a disk. We're going to blend that into the other shape. Okay, so this is the background, this is my foreground. We'll connect it to the generator in a second. It's covering it. Let's do a max. Now I'm going to bring this scale down quite a bit on the shape. It's humongous. We've made an eye by mistake. But let's just bring that down, maybe 0.2 on scale. I need to move it over. Okay, I don't see any options, not a big deal. Let's just put a transform 2D after the shape. So I'm going to double click in the blend so I can look at it, but I'm single clicking on the transform, and then we're going to do a horizontal offset by 0.5. And you can see when you do that, because it wants to tile by default, it's immediately repeating. And now I could go back to that initial shape and bring the scale down until I think it has about the right size. This is what we're going to tile. So not this shape, I want to put this in the generator. Okay, let's see what we get. That's already looking pretty good. Yeah, not too bad. This one looks a little squashed to me compared to that one. So let's see if I can kind of figure that out real quick. It could be something with my other interstice value. Let me just double check. That would disconnect them. I bet I can fix this. If that really was an issue, I probably could fix this back on the shape. I think what I'm going to do is back here, instead of just doing an overall scale, I could play around with that, bringing the Y scale down to kind of turn it back to a circle, and then let's bring the overall scale up. That seems a little more balanced. Yeah, we're pretty close on that one. Awesome. I think my border edge thickness is maybe just a hair too high right now, but I think we're in the ballpark. And there we go. So this is another nice, kind of more organic repeating pattern.